Hello and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. So in today's video, we are going to majorly discuss about some of the protected areas that have been into news from past 1 year. Okay? So before we begin with this video, there is one more thing which is related to environment and is into news. This is a new topic that we have not covered in class. This is called as environmentally persistent pharmaceutical pollutants. Okay, this is called as environmentally persistent pharmaceutical pollutants. ठीक है? So what consists of environmentally persistent pharmaceutical pollutants? First and foremost, it consists of antibiotics. ठीक है? Pain relievers such as ibuprofen, diclofenac, aceclofenac, ठीक है? And hormonal medicines, for example for thyroid and all other medicine that we consume for hormones, ठीक है? Insulin promotion and all others. So these are the pharmaceutical ingredients which continue to remain in environment for years together, and it keeps on shifting from one body to the other. For example, if somebody has consumed antibiotics, okay, and this water, the water that came out of the domestic solid waste, this was not purified, not treated and directly dumped into rivers. Okay? So in that case, the antibiotics will enter into rivers. Similarly, so is the case with pain relievers as well as hormones, hormonal medicines. Okay? So that is why we call them as EPPs, that is environmentally persistent pharmaceutical pollutants. Okay? Now APIs also come under this category. API stands for active pharmaceutical ingredient. Okay? API is the main ingredient for medicine that affects the bodily functions. Okay? So let's say we talk about anything, for example any food, carbohydrate based food. Okay? In that case, the most important ingredient will be wheat. Okay? So similarly, to develop any medicine, the most important, the basic component will be API, which will be affecting the way your body behaves after consuming that medicine. Okay? So this API itself is a polluter. This API itself is EPPP. Okay? Why does it end up into water body, or how is it exposed to environment? It can be unsafe manufacturing or usage or disposal. Okay? The examples of pollutant accumulation in our environment, in and around us, we have observed that there is some amount of deposition of pollutants, and that is what we are going through these pointers. For example, we have observed the presence of ibuprofen or diclofenac in the waters of Kaveri, which are anti-inflammatory agent. Okay? Or we have also seen in the Maharashtra coast the presence of BP, the BP medicine component present in the coastal water. Okay? We have also observed azithromycin in majority of the rivers of India. Okay? So we can see how antibiotics most commonly or painkillers end up into water bodies, and that is why mass bathing is also considered as one of the primary reasons for antimicrobial resistance. Okay? Because antibiotics have entered into these water bodies, and whether we consume antibiotics separately as a medicine or not, but consuming this kind of water helps us to interact with such kind of antibiotics. Okay? So over a period of time, the bacteria will learn to fight against these antibiotics. Okay? Hyderabad, this is a very strange case. In Hyderabad, which is considered to be a drug manufacturing hub, this is the place where huge amount of drugs are processed, and India is one of the largest producer of generic medicine, top producers of generic medicine. Okay? So that is why it is all the more important. Okay? In Hyderabad, the water that we have observed, this contains sufficient amount of antibiotics to treat approximately 44,000 people. Okay? This much amount of medicine we have found in only one local area. Okay? So what are the effects? For example, there can be several effects. For example, we observed that presence of antibiotics in water bodies will lead to antimicrobial resistance also. Okay? But what are the other effects? For example, we take up drugs for any endocrine glands. Secretions of endocrine glands के लिए we consume drugs. ठीक है? That affects the reproductive behavior of fishes. ठीक है. It in certain cases it has also affected the reproductive behavior of human beings. ठीक है. So this becomes a very significant topic for upcoming prelims exam. ठीक है. Now entering into the protected areas. The first protected area, this is in Assam, Laukhoa and Bura Chapori Wildlife Sanctuary. This is the location of Laukhoa and Bura Chapori Wildlife Sanctuary. To its eastern side we have Kaziranga, to the western side we have Orang National Park. ठीक है. So this itself, Laukhoa as well as Bura Chapori Wildlife Sanctuary, this is an intermediate or a boundary zone between Kaziranga and Orang National Park. ठीक है. So this is the buffer of Kaziranga National Park, and for the first time from past 40 years one-horned rhinos were not found in this region. We have first time encountered in 40 years that one-horned rhinos did enter into this protected area. ठीक है. So which is a good news. This has been considered as a path for wild animals. If they are shifting from Kaziranga National Park to Orang National Park, this will become an intermediate zone. That is why this zone is very much important. ठीक है. It is also the ideal habitat for Bengal floricans. Bengal floricans are critically endangered species found in Ganga and Brahmaputra river. So this becomes an ideal habitat for Bengal florican. ठीक है. This is on the south bank of Brahmaputra, which is also one of the reason why we have presence of Bengal florican in this region. And Bura Chapori Wildlife Sanctuary itself is declared as Important Bird and Biodiversity Area, IBBA. So there is an international organization called BirdLife International. This is an NGO, partner organization to Ramsar. So this BirdLife International designates certain area, that this area is important for, let's say, local bird, indigenous species, migratory species, and this designation is called as IBBA, that is Important Bird and Biodiversity Area. ठीक है. So this has been declared as IBBA. Now the next protected area is Kamling Tiger Reserve. This is the location of Kamling Tiger Reserve in Arunachal Pradesh. ठीक है. So Kamling is itself a river which is a left bank tributary of Brahmaputra river. ठीक है. Why was Kamling Tiger Reserve into news? Because they have created a butterfly walk and nature trail event which has taken place. So you can observe, you can walk across this region and observe the butterflies in this region. ठीक है. Namdapha National Park lies to the south of Kamling Tiger Reserve. So this is the location of Namdapha National Park. This is the location of Kamling Tiger Reserve. ठीक है. Namdapha National Park, we know this is almost sitting at the boundary between Arunachal Pradesh from Indian side, China as well as Myanmar. ठीक है. The water body that supports this protected area is the Kamling River, which is the lifeline of this protected area. But what other species do we get here is elephants, leopards. Apart from leopards, it has all three varieties. So leopards, clouded leopards and snow leopards. Leopards, clouded leopards and snow leopards as well as Hoolock gibbon are some of the common faunal species which are found in this area. ठीक है. Now next is the Kadalundi Vali Kunu Community Reserve. So this is a community reserve. ठीक है. Why was it into news? This is a place in Kerala at the bank of so it is on the verge of meeting Arabian Sea itself, and we have observed that it is a mudflat ecosystem. What is a mudflat ecosystem? This will be a marshy land saturated with water. ठीक है. So this is a mudflat ecosystem, and what we are observing is there is a shrinking in this mudflat ecosystem, which is reducing the presence of shorebirds in this region. ठीक है. So they have kept the shorebirds away. It is an intertidal zone, so we do have the presence of mangroves as well as migrant birds. But apart from mangroves and migratory birds that are coming into this area, we also have some molluscous species. Molluscous species can be seashells or jellyfishes as well as smooth coated otter in this region. ठीक है. Then we have Lemru Elephant Reserve. Lemru Elephant Reserve is in Chhattisgarh. This is the location of Lemru Elephant Reserve. ठीक है. Why is it important? Because there was a coal mine which was being dug in the middle of this protected area. ठीक है. So in the middle of this elephant reserve, there was a coal mine which was being dug, and Chhattisgarh state government had requested the central government that you please denotify this coal mine. So this has been agreed to by the Ministry of Coal to denotify. The Chhattisgarh state government had sent a request and Ministry of Coal has approved ki okay, we will not be carrying out coal mining in this area. Okay? This is part of Hasdeo Aranya forest. Now this is all the more important because Lemru Elephant Reserve itself is part of Hasdeo Aranya forest. Okay? Now Hasdeo Aranya forest is considered as the lungs of Chhattisgarh. Lungs of Chhattisgarh. Okay? Okay, next important protected area is the Simlipal Tiger Reserve. Simlipal Tiger Reserve mein for the first time we have carried out melanistic tiger safari. Melanistic tiger safari. So what is exactly a melanistic tiger safari? Melanistic tigers are tigers only, but the black stripes that usually tigers have, it is much broadened for such tigers. Okay? So out of the 16 tigers which are found here, 10 were considered to be melanistic. So they have a broadened black strip. Just like a normal tiger, they will be looking like a normal tiger, just the black strip which is broadened for them. Okay? So this was about Simlipal Tiger Reserve and why was it into news, but Simlipal itself is a UNESCO's MAB. It is a Man and Biosphere Reserve recognized by UNESCO. Okay? So and it is also the only population of melanistic tigers in the world. We do not have any other place for melanistic tigers other than Simlipal. Okay? It is also UNESCO's MAB and an important bird and biodiversity area. Plus, it also receives fund under Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat. Now, what is exactly Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat? Under this, state governments are given fund. So, central government will be giving fund to the state government that this is the designated species that you need to protect in your region. Okay? That the scheme name is Integrated Development of Wildlife Habitat. Okay? Next important protected area is Palamu Tiger Reserve. Palamu Tiger Reserve. Okay? So Palamu Tiger Reserve was into news because we are constructing reintroduction. We are planning to reintroduce cheetahs into Palamu Tiger Reserve, which is part of Jharkhand. This is the northern part of Jharkhand wherein Palamu Tiger Reserve is present. This is part of Betla National Park as well as Palamu Wildlife Sanctuary and is again a designated IBBA from BirdLife International, that is important bird and biodiversity area. Then we also have Mukurthi National Park. Mukurthi National Park is in Tamil Nadu but very close to, so it is exactly on the boundary between Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, Mukurthi National Park. Okay? And there has been increased vigilance here to stop poaching in being carried out in Mukurthi National Park. So what were the species that were being poached? It was mostly tigers and leopards. So obviously the kind of faunal species that we have is the presence of big cats. Tigers and leopards के poaching को reduce करने के लिए, to reduce the poaching for this, Mukurthi National Park में vigilance has been increased. ठीक है? It shares border with Mudumalai National Park and Silent Valley National Park. We know this by location. This is also sitting at the tri-junction between Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. ठीक है? So this shares borders with Mudumalai National Park as well as Silent Valley National Park. And it is also part of again an MAB, UNESCO's MAB, that is Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. ठीक है? Then next we have Anamalai Tiger Reserve. Anamalai Tiger Reserve has been taken out, matlab carved out. There was an existing national park by the name Anamalai National Park. We have created a tiger reserve within this national park. That's why it was into news. Okay? So we have basically created a new tiger reserve. Okay? What are the rivers that are feeding in this region? This is Aliyar, Uppar and Nirar. It is a cats recognized protected area. Cats recognized matlab, there will be an international organization to keep a check whether your efforts to conserve and protect the particular species, is it fructifying or not. So it assesses if the management promotes the tiger conservation or not. Okay? So this is what CATS does, and this is CATS recognized. So that means it has been accepted कि Annamalai Tiger Reserve में the efforts put up by the State Forest Authority has increased the number of tigers in Annamalai Tiger Reserve. ठीक है? That is the meaning of cats recognized. Then we have Gangotri National Park. Gangotri National Park, as the name suggests, is in Uttarakhand. By district it is Uttarkashi and runs along India-China border. So this is the Gangotri National Park and this is China. So it runs along India-China border. The river, it is also having the origin of Ganga river, but the river majorly that passes through this region is Bhagirathi. And again it is a IBBA, Important Bird and Biodiversity Area, recognized under BirdLife International. Then we also have Dudhwa Tiger Reserve. Dudhwa Tiger Reserve is again in Uttarakhand, and this is the location of Dudhwa Tiger Reserve. Jim Corbett के पास. This is in between Kishanpur and Katarnia Ghat. So this is the location of Dudhwa Tiger Reserve. So for the first time, why is Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, this is Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, and why is Dudhwa Tiger Reserve into news is because for the first time we have observed that a female Bengal tiger has entered into this region. A female Bengal tiger has been found in the reserved areas of Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, and that's why it is into news. This tiger reserve itself is consisting of the boundaries between Dudhwa National Park, then Kishanpur Wildlife Sanctuary and Katarnia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary. It is also recognized under cats. That means the efforts have resulted into increase in number of tiger species. So that is why Dudhwa Tiger